Hello, and thank you for joining me on the Daily Reflection. I'm Reverend Shereen, and today we do the Places of Opposites reading. So it does mean it's Wednesday, and the Places of Opposites goes from today backwards a few days to the weekend and forwards to the next Wednesday. So it's a 10-day window, and it looks at the dichotomies in play around a certain energy that is prevalent during this window. It is not a fortune-telling thing. It's not predicting what's going to happen across the next 10 days. It is just simply looking at energies in play that hopefully resonate with you as you watch this, because that's always the intent, is that you find these videos in the perfect timing for you. So it may even be that you find this in a time frame that isn't the one that I'm recording it for, and that's okay, because it's in perfect divine timing for you in that moment. So today we will be using the Osho Zen Tarot and the Magic of Flowers Oracle, and I'm still learning the Magic of Flowers, so I will always read it clairvoyantly, but if need be, I also have the guidebook that I can refer to just for clarification if I need it. So, meditative moment this morning was about restrictions and energies and fun. And I'm not talking about restrictions equaling fun. I'm talking about, I was looking at where I stopped doing things I enjoy, and for no logical reason or even a reason that I can say. It just, the energy tapers off. I find myself not doing it. I find myself avoiding it. And so I was looking at why. Why do I not allow myself that enjoyment, that level of fun? And for me today, one of the prevalent answers was kind of this perfectionist energy, where when I did something previously, and it may have worked, just may not have worked exactly the way I had envisioned or with the results exactly the way that I had hoped, but that's all learning experience, right? We learn how to do things better, we learn how to do it more, but bottom line, I still enjoyed doing it, even if it wasn't perfect. And yet that perfectionist energy snuck in there, and I would find myself hitting it, and instead of choosing to do it anyway and enjoy the moment, I would find myself backing off and avoiding it until, for whatever reason, doing it just seemed like way too much effort when there was no effort involved. It was simply getting around that energy. So I guess for you, look for yourself at what energies, when you find yourself not doing something that you would like to do, what flavor is that sneaky energy that builds up, that feels like a pressure keeping you from doing it. And for those of you who use your intuitive tools a little bit deeper, look at your base chakra, look at where your grounding cord connects in, and notice if there are any fences, barbs. The picture I saw for myself looked like a series of hairpins, like bobby pins, that was attaching this energy all the way around the edge of my chakra. So I could spin it and it would move, but there was this restriction all the way around the edge of how much, and specifically how much I could change the vibration of the energy within it. So, all right, there we go. That was the meditative moment. And I'm excited to do the Places of Opposites. So maybe the blessings of the Supreme Being, that whatever happens during this reading today will benefit each of us in our spiritual growth, awareness, and understanding. Amen. Looks like we're going to start with the Magic of Flowers. The Places of Opposites has 5 positions. The top card is the position of energies or events or influences that we are aware of. We know that they are happening. We know they're there. You know, it's like, I'm sitting in this chair. Yes, I know I'm sitting in this chair. If the chair were to suddenly move, I would be surprised because I didn't move it. All right, so top card. And we're going to draw one from the Osho Zen to match it, looks like. So we're doing top card reading state. Interesting. Okay. Usually I go through the deck, but those were both top cards. Okay, the place opposite of that, and the card that goes on the bottom of the reading, is things that are subconscious or things that are happening in the universe around you in the community, energies that are kind of flowing, kind of like the energies of the planetary bodies. Their resonance, their gravity affects us as they move through space. We call that astrology, but that's basically the influence behind it is the gravitational field and the composition of the elements on those planets and how they affect our physical bodies. Just like Newton said, forces applied. Okay, the card to the left is your analytical wisdom, your logic, your mind's ability to work through a problem, things that just make sense. You can discuss them, you understand them. It also indicates energies that you're moving out of. So, the card to the left. And the card to the right is your emotional wisdom. How you feel, how you relate and create and make decisions through your feelings, and the wisdom of what your feelings tell you and guide you through, your intuition. It can be pragmatic intuition. It can be intuition that is based on practical things. It can also be your abstract intuition where I just know that I need to go that road today instead of the route I normally plan. It's also where you are moving to, energies that are about to be more prevalent. Okay. And the center card. This is often a theme, a resolution, things that tie it all together, the big picture. And some people start with the center when they read this reading. I always do it last. There's no rule that says I have to do it that way. So, all right, in the top, we have the Dahlia. And when I look at this image, when I look at this card and I look at it clairvoyantly, it's about connecting with yourself. She's got her hand over her throat and her hand over her stomach, 5th and 3rd chakras. It's about connecting your energy source, your certainty, the way you do things, with your inner voice, your truth, and your ability to create. I also see where it's about nurturing and caring for yourself and validating that you know what's best for your body, validating you are your own best healer, validating that you are your own best guide. You know more than anybody else what's going on. So if you're questioning your own inner feeling on a health issue versus something a doctor is saying, this card is saying you should validate what you know to be true for you first. Even if you have no background in medicine or way to explain it, you should advocate for what you know to be true for yourself. And that goes with postponement. And it does look like for many of you, there is a physical issue that you have to deal with before you can move on. You might have had a lot of plans, you might have had things laid out, but until you deal with this physical issue, you can't go do them. So it's not saying that it's going away, it's saying that you first have to care for your body and nurture yourself and get yourself healed up enough to do it. And that should be something you're immediately aware of. Opposite of that, more subconsciously, we have honeysuckle. And this to me is just the joy of life, the drinking in the experience, the wanting to cherish every sensation, every moment, every emotion. As spirit, we don't experience emotion in the same way. Spirit doesn't know pain. It knows the concept of pain. It knows the concept of hunger or desire, but it doesn't feel it the same way that this body does, which is partly why we come here, for the true wonder of the vision of the way things look, colors and textures and tastes and smells, and all those things that when we are only our spirit, or when we are completely our spirit, not in a physical form, we have recollection of, but no real feeling of. It's just experiences. It's just a reference point. When we're in the body, we feel them and we know them. And that is a large driver for many of us to come back and reincarnate into the physical, is to re-experience those things, even if some of them are painful, because that is just something you can't experience anywhere else. So anyway, this card, honeysuckle, drinking in the variety of life, the experiences, all of the taste, textures, the physicality and enjoyment of experience. And with that, we have conflict and fighting. Again, even when it's painful, even when something is uncomfortable or puts you in competition and it makes you feel like you're just struggling, to the spirit, it's still, in a way, a joyful experience. It's an experience. It's something to behold. So what I see for you right now is like, why am I always hitting these walls? Why am I always in competition? And that is something that you have influence over changing. It doesn't have to come in that way. Your spirit is just enjoying the moment, the experience. But if you're not, as the spirit in the body isn't enjoying it, you always have the authority to look at what's causing this conflict and change it. And I see for most of us here watching this video that this is an internal conflict. Kind of like what I was talking about in the meditative moment, where you are experiencing a conflicting set of desires or programs. Sometimes it's simply moving away from an old way of doing something into a new way, and because our bodies are slower to change and the programming that flows through them energetically can be a little bit slower to change, it may be more difficult. You may feel like you have to fight against yourself, drag yourself along to do it. All right, and to the left, we have Forget-Me-Not. This is kind of a magical energy of being able to remember the good and the bad in things that have happened to you. And logically, it's your discernment. It's your way of categorizing and identifying what you want to have more of, what you don't want to have more of. Some people call that good and bad, but of course, good and bad all depends on the perspective of how you're viewing it. So anyway, this card coming up on the left, energies you're moving out of, a bit of nostalgia, a bit of trying to decide what you don't want to have more of anymore from a logical standpoint. And going with the flow. In a way, it looks like you're carrying a lot of judgment for not using your discernment. Knowing or thinking something and then not acting on it. You're just going with the flow of whatever's around you. And you can see the beauty in going with the flow, the beauty in just being, but you're also noticing the beauty of, well, if I had said no to that, the flow would have changed. If I had blocked off that part, the flow would have shifted and I could have gone that way with it. And that's all true. Both are true. You can just go with the flow. You can influence the flow. And so I just see you working that out in your mind. Be careful of the judgment game, though, that comes with it. The if I had, then this would have, and knowing or thinking that you know how it would have transpired if you had done something different, because you don't know. You didn't do that. And it may have turned out different than what you're even thinking now might have happened. So be easy with yourself. Do look at how you're using your mental discernment, how you're using your analytical abilities, but don't presume that you would know exactly where the flow would take you if you make any certain decisions. Okay, and to the right, our emotional wisdom. Oh, I cannot say this word. Agapanthus. Agapanthus. I see this card being about recognition of your own royalty in a way, recognition of your own deservedness. Is that a word? How much you deserve to have the things that you want in your life. You know, just like royalty is presumed to be able to deserve anything they want, whatever their whim is, and it shall be brought to them, shall be satisfied. That's kind of what this is looking like on an emotional level. You have things that you want, you have experiences and emotions you want to have, and it's your ability to discern, to know that you deserve the richness of all that. You deserve the richness of those emotions. You deserve the richness of those experiences. You deserve to be satisfied, fulfilled, sensual, just pleasure. You deserve it. And emotionally, you understand that, or you desire it. You may not believe it. And so really, if you're caught in that conundrum of knowing what you want and how it would feel, but feeling you don't deserve it, that is an energy for you to look at and look at the why. What says you don't deserve it? Whose voice is that? Who are you listening to? You're certainly not listening to your inner spirit, because your inner spirit knows that you're very deserving. So it's a different voice you're listening to, a different program. And it goes, this is the dream. So the other thing to be cautious of is you do deserve to have, and you can have these things. But this goes along more with what we were looking at yesterday in acceptance and knowing where your dreams are, but knowing the difference between fantasy and what's here now, and accepting what's here now so you can build from it. And not just be building and living in the dream of what could be, but physically living out something else. It's about turning this dream into what you truly want and having it in reality. But to do that, you have to accept where you are, and you also have to accept what you truly deserve here and now, and how you can receive that, what keeps you from receiving it. And in the center, we have Black-Eyed Susan. And this card to me is kind of the wisdom of the ages, the earth wisdom, the wisdom of cycles and growth, and how everything connects and works together, and just being drenched in that wisdom of the wholeness of spirit in the body, this physical experience, the wholeness of how everything connects and interrelates. So, that's, again, and we saw that reflected here in how you care for yourself, you having your own seniority, knowing what's best for yourself, but also weighing that against what experts tell you. The beauty of the past and your ability to discern and make decisions, as well as your deservingness and what you can create for yourself in the future, your dreams, but the vastness of the experience and how that sometimes leads us to conflict within ourselves. But all this information about how things come together, how they work, the wholeness of experience, that is kind of the theme in this over this 10 days. You probably started feeling it a little bit starting the weekend, but definitely going forward. And there will be something about the wholeness of how things work that will be an aha for you. You're going to be like, of course, why have I been struggling against that all along? That was the thing. And the other center card today is slowing down. Oftentimes we focus on the next thing, more, better, faster, improvement, always improve. It's time to slow down and enjoy the experience. It's time to come into the fullness of having everything you deserve, and not just dreaming about it, not just striving towards this dream that you can't quite get to, but enjoying the step. I took this step and I'm going to enjoy the fullness of it. I'm going to enjoy the experience of it. I'm going to nurture myself through it, and I'm going to nurture myself through it. And I'm going to understand how it all comes together, because I'm going to be slowing down enough to notice, to experience, to have everything that's going on right here and right now, not be pulled off into the future or lost in memories of the past. If you see these two cards here, lost in the memory of the past, fantasies of the future, those two are neither one what's happening in present time. So be the turtle, be the wisdom tree, allow yourself to see everything in its full perspective, how it all comes together, how it plays out, how amazing your spirit is, how amazing this physical experience is, and how much your spirit enjoys embodying this vessel you've created and enjoys all of the richness and the fullness of this physical life. So that's it. That's the places of opposites. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it gave you lots to think about. And we will see you tomorrow for the next daily reflection. Take care.